Thanks for talking with me. How would you describe your career journey?
So when I was in like my senior year of college, so right as the pandemic hit, backstory, I had actually applied to a whole bunch of internships in New York and got through the first round of interviews, was about to start the second interview, and then pandemic hit, they canceled all the internships. So I was kind of sitting there that summer going, what am I gonna do this summer? There's nothing really to do. And then me and a group of people started Parachute Media, and it was a digital publication by and for Gen-Z women of color, and kind of just our experiences, our voices, and it was really, really incredible. I worked on it for almost 2 years, and we had a whole bunch of writers from all over the country. It was completely remote because online and pandemic and all of that stuff. But it was really incredible because I got to meet people from all over the country. We had a couple people in Canada, one person in London, one person in India. So we really got to kind of meet, all these incredible women doing incredible things from all over. And then recently, we graduated, we kind of went our separate ways, and then I started a job, and I was like, you know what, there's something missing. So I've been starting to work on SheMade Digital. Little bit different scope. It's the same audience, Gen Z women of color, but really kind of focusing on personal professional development. Really things that we kind of didn't learn in school. So how to file your taxes and how to invest and kind of mental health things, and really kind of being able to focus on that. So I've been working on that for the last 6 months and we're just about to launch it. And so we've launched the Instagram. We're about to launch the website in a month. And it's been incredible working with this group of people and doing something that seems really meaningful.
What inspired you to pursue the work that you do?
Yeah, let me think. So seeing just the world around us from what like younger people are dealing with. So I know Gen Z is kind of like the older Gen Z are now like hitting 25, 26, and a lot of older generations don't really listen to us. And it's this really like big thing of like, we're dealing with like thinking about climate change and thinking about gun violence in schools and all of this stuff. And not a lot of people are kind of listening to our voices, or even in like working in journalism, you're not hearing voices of younger people. You're hearing voices of politicians. You're hearing voices of people in higher up positions, people who are older. So really kind of bringing that voice to light. And with Parachute, it was really kind of amplifying those voices, hearing the voices of Gen Z people. And we kind of opened up a contributor program that allowed anyone to submit and anyone to kind of share their ideas, whether it's political, whether it's about health and wellness, or whether it's about money and career things. With SheMade Digital, we're kind of focusing on really now, instead of just amplifying those voices, to just empower them financially, to empower them career-wise, to empower them just in their personal lives, whether it's their relationships with their families or romantic relationships, or even like their mental health or their physical health, and kind of like eating healthy and exercising. Really being able to empower this group of people to be able to do whatever it is they want to do in their life. It really started really early on. I think probably in second grade. I remember my second grade English teacher kind of sitting in the corner under this little light bulb and reading stories to us, reading poems to us, reading books to us. And that was kind of my first initial kind of introduction to like, here's like some amazing stories. And after that, I just absolutely fell in love with reading. For a while, I wanted to be a novelist. And then I kind of wanted to go into Hollywood and the entertainment industry and become a director for a while. It's really just like, throughout my whole life, I've really just like been absolutely in love with storytelling, whether that is podcasts, whether that is videos, whether that is movies. I'm a complete movie nerd. So just being able to use all these different forms of storytelling to tell something that is incredible, or to give advice, or to really be like relatable. I know TikTok has blown up, and it's really interesting because it's not like really like cool shots or like really incredible like cinematography. It's really just normal people like sitting in their car talking on the phone, and it's because the content is relatable, and it's because like people can actually connect. And that's been like really eye-opening to just the world of storytelling.
What kind of skills do you need to be successful in the work that you do?
Yeah, I think the biggest skill that I've learned in high school and college that has benefited me in my career and my job is writing, and it seems so simple, but like down to like the menu, like where to put a comma, where to put like what words to hyphenate and whatnot. It's like writing has been like something that I do every day at work, and being able to write something in like 10 minutes versus a half hour, it's been able to kind of push me really far so far in my career. I think the other thing is, like, in college I learned, especially like in the SOJC, like we had that class Gateway where you learn everything from writing, photography, videos, podcasts, and learning all those skills was really useful because I get to know like what every other like group is doing. So I understand like what the directors are doing versus the producers are doing versus like the reporters in the field are doing, and that kind of really helps me kind of see what like how everything works at my station. What's really interesting that I didn't learn in college that I've kind of been using is social media, is really understanding how like social media works and how to take a story that is on TV and then we translate it into an article on the website, into an Instagram post, into a Twitter post, a Facebook post, into a TikTok video sometimes, and really being able to think of the strategy of how to tell that story in multiple different ways, but also how to think about like what's popular on Instagram versus what's popular on TikTok versus what's popular on Twitter, and what should we post on this platform versus that platform. And that's kind of something that's not taught in school, but it's really, really useful kind of in the real world and work.
What sorts of students might be drawn to the work that you do?
Like the sorts of students that are drawn to a career in journalism are the ones that really love reading, really love writing, really love kind of storytelling or listening to the news, or kind of knowing what's going on in the world. It's really, really cool, and especially like working in a local news organization to either tell the stories of what's going on locally, or even take like a national news story and localize it, make it relevant to, you know, the people that live in Portland. And so that's kind of what drew me to journalism, is being able to use all these different like platforms and kind of media storytelling skills to be able to actually tell a story. And then taking it one step, especially me kind of being young and looking at like, okay, these are legacy news organizations that have been doing this for 100 years. It's really cool to see how they do it and learn how to do it, but also taking those skills and applying it to something that's relevant to younger people, and applying it to something that is more creative and more relevant and relatable to kind of someone every day who's not kind of looking at hard news and hard facts.
Can you describe your own career journey?
Yeah, so my career journey thus far, I'm 23, so there hasn't been much in the career journey so far, but I really, while I was in college, took the opportunity to get as many internships as possible. With the pandemic, that was a little difficult, but at least I got to work with a few amazing local news organizations. I got to work with Coin6 one summer for an internship, and then I did an internship with KPTV another summer. And then those really helped me also get this job at KPTV that I'm working with now. So internships were really, really, really eye-opening for me. What you learn in school, what you learn in the classroom is very different than what you will learn at an internship at an actual workplace. People are really, really helpful in actually like giving me advice when I was doing my internship, and just learning about how an organization works and the structure and kind of what goes in and what like different people. I'm gonna repeat that. So really learning at an internship what kind of the structure of the organization and kind of what role each person plays, that's really useful. There's so many jobs that I didn't know were jobs until I got an internship, like assignment editor. You don't really learn that in school. You kind of just learn how to be a reporter, but you don't learn about all these other roles within journalism. So really being able to get real world experience has been really, really beneficial to kind of figuring out what exactly it was I wanted to do.
What do you love about the work that you do?
I think what I love about the work that I'm doing is more than the work itself, it's the team. It's really being able to joke with my coworkers and kind kind of have inside jokes. We have this inside joke that we, every once in a while, working in news, you feel like you're like living in the Matrix, because there's always like similar stories going on all over the world. Or like we had a story about like a firefighter that got killed, and then like an hour later there was another story from like Tennessee of a firefighter that got killed, and it's always like things like that you're like, wait, what's going on? Why is this the same thing happening over and over again? So really being able to joke with coworkers, being able to have a nice work environment, that's kind of what makes me like want to go to work every day. But also being able to see that like the article that I wrote is like kind of seeing the numbers and seeing that, wow, there's like 2,000 people that are reading it, or there are like 500 people engaging on social media. It's really cool to actually see that like the work that you're doing is actually making it into people's lives, and like people are actually reading it on their phones or on their laptops or watching it on TV. So kind of being able to recognize that your work is like actually like being seen by people, that's really cool.
What advice do you have for students trying to decide what they want to do later in life?
My biggest advice for people in high school trying to figure out what they want to do with your life: don't rush it. You will figure it out. Really kind of rushing into things and figuring out like choosing a career path that you're not going to love for the rest of your life, that's not a good recipe. I think my biggest piece of advice for people in high school is make a career out of something you love. And it's going to be a lot of work, it's going to be really hard, but it's going to be really rewarding in the end.
Can you talk about the importance of representation in the work that you do?
Yep. I think for me, there's been so many times where I walk into the room and there can be like 500 people in the room, and I can count on my fingers how many people of color there are. And sometimes it's really discouraging, but sometimes it's also really encouraging to actually be saying like, hey, I made it into this room and I belong here. So really being able to represent my community in that room, and I'm sure many other communities that can be there, and also empowering people who see me in that room and can make it to other rooms like that. That's kind of what I strive for.
What does your average workday look like?
Yeah. So every day I wake up at 6 in the morning and I get up, get ready, drive to work. I have to be to work at 7. When it's me, it's usually 7:05. And then I will sit down and just start reading through my emails, seeing what press releases came in. I will check social media, I will check all of those things. We have a newscast running from 4:30 in the morning till about 10 a.m. So really seeing like, okay, what are the news stories this morning, if there's any breaking news stories. And then I will get to work either writing press releases or clipping videos, posting stuff on social media. I'll also take whatever stories were really popular like that morning or the night before and start posting them on Instagram. And then just going about my day is the same thing. If we have any like live streams to run, if we have any big stories that require push alerts, so we send the push alerts that you'll get like on your phone for a big story, or if it's like a missing kid or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I do until about 3:30, and then I head home. And then usually I'll take a break, I'll get some food, and around 6 or 7 p.m. I'll start working on SheMade. And then my weekends are also full of SheMade digital stuff too. So whether it's kind of running meetings or figuring out social media strategy or writing articles, editing articles, working on the website, there's so many different things to do. So there's always something to work on. I think what keeps me motivated is seeing that I'm actually building something and seeing that my team is really motivated and that they're creating really amazing work. Just like, this is a vision that I have, but seeing other people adopt it and believe in that vision, that's been like really, really rewarding. We just launched our Instagram, so just seeing people engage with it and saying, wow, this is incredible, this is something I need, this is something that I would like really benefit from. That's kind of what keeps me going, is that this is actually something that is useful and that can actually make a difference.